I didn't plan to change my life that day. I just missed my train. I was standing on the platform looking at the empty tracks when the sign said, "Next train in 58 minutes." My first reaction was simple. I grabbed my phone. My thumb went straight to the same apps as always. Messages, social media, email. My brain was already preparing the usual. Scroll, scroll, scroll. And then, for some reason, I stopped. I looked up from the screen and saw a park across the street. A few trees, a walking path, a couple of empty benches. I had almost one free hour. No meetings, no calls, no plans. Just me, my phone, and a late train. I had a stupid idea. What if I spend this whole hour without my phone? No checking messages. No, just one quick look. Nothing. The idea sounded small, but my body did not agree. My hand was still holding the phone like a life jacket. I took a breath, crossed the street, and walked into the park. I chose a bench with a clear view of the path and the trees. It felt like I was choosing a seat in a cinema. I sat down, unlocked my phone one last time, and opened the clock app. I set a timer for 60 minutes, 1 hour. My rules were simple. The phone stays in my pocket. I don't touch it until the timer rings. I pressed start. The numbers began to count down. 59:58, 59:57. I locked the screen and put the phone deep into my pocket. Not on the bench next to me. Not in my hand. Out of sight. For 2 seconds, I felt proud. Look at me, I thought. I'm so healthy and mindful. On the third second, I wanted my phone back.
The first minute was easy. I just sat there and looked around like a normal person. A woman walked past with a big dog. The dog looked happy. The woman looked like she needed 3 more hours of sleep. A kid on a scooter almost crashed into a trash can. He missed it by 2 centimeters and shouted, "Yes!" like he had won the Olympics. I smiled. See, I thought, this is nice. I don't need my phone. At minute 3, my brain changed its mind. A random thought appeared. What if someone texted you? Another thought joined it. What if it was important? My hand moved to my pocket before I could stop it. My fingers actually touched the phone. It felt heavy and warm, like it was also waiting for me. I pulled my hand back like I had touched something hot. I crossed my arms and sat on them. Very mature solution. I tried to focus on the park again, on the trees, on the people, on the sound of the wind. The wind sounded like nothing. My brain was louder. You should check the time, it said. What if the timer didn't start? What if you did it wrong? I looked at the sky instead. It was just gray. No magical sunset, no deep meaning. Just clouds. My brain did not like that answer. Fine, it said. Then at least check your email. I laughed out loud, alone on the bench. I'm not checking my email in the park, I whispered. A man walking his dog looked at me like I was crazy. To be fair, I was having an argument with my own brain. I tried a different tactic. I pretended I was in an old movie, a time before smartphones. In this movie, people sit on benches and think. They look at clouds and write mysterious things in notebooks. They do not desperately want to open Instagram. I didn't have a notebook. I had my thoughts. Honestly, they were not very poetic. Did I send that document? Did I lock the door? What am I doing with my life? That escalated quickly. I shifted on the bench, crossed and uncrossed my legs, checked the empty space next to me 3 times. Every small movement felt like a fake version of checking my phone. A couple sat down on the bench across the path. They both took out their phones at the same time. Their faces lit up with the same blue light. For a second, I was jealous. They didn't have to fight themselves. They could just scroll in peace. Then I realized something. A week ago, that would have been me. 2 people and 3 screens. I looked down at my empty hands. They felt useless. They didn't know what to do without a rectangle to hold. Somewhere around minute 15, something strange happened. I got bored. Not, I have nothing to do on my phone bored. Real bored. The kind of bored I hadn't felt since I was a kid waiting at the dentist. At first, it felt uncomfortable, like an itch in my brain. I shifted on the bench again. I watched a leaf move across the ground 1 centimeter at a time. The leaf had a more interesting day than me. But then my brain did something new. It stopped shouting. The thoughts didn't disappear, but they got quieter. I started to notice small things. A little girl trying to ride a bicycle without training wheels. Her dad walking next to her, one hand ready to catch the seat just in case. Every few seconds, she shouted, "Don't touch it." Every few seconds, he pretended not to. On another bench, an old man was reading a paper book, not an e-reader, a real book with a torn cover and a tiny piece of paper sticking out as a bookmark. He turned the pages slowly, like he had all the time in the world. He didn't look at his pocket once. A teenager in a bright red hoodie walked past, talking to himself. I thought he was on the phone. Then I saw there was no phone, just him, practicing a speech or a song or an argument from his head. The park started to feel less like a background and more like a movie I had paid for. Characters, scenes, small stories, all happening at the same time. And for the first time that day, I wasn't the main character. I watched a woman stop, take a deep breath, and look up at the sky for a long moment. She didn't take a picture, she just looked. I realized I couldn't remember the last time I did that. Looked at something without thinking, should I share this? My hand was still empty. My phone was still quiet in my pocket. For the first time, that felt okay. A new thought appeared, and it wasn't from panic. It was small and calm and very simple. If I can survive 1 hour without my phone, what else can I survive without? When the timer finally rang, it didn't sound like freedom. It sounded like a question. For 60 minutes, my phone lived without me, and it didn't die. More than that, the world somehow survived too. Nobody called to say, "Where are you?" We're all lost without your stories. My hand reached for my pocket again. This time, a little slower. I looked at the black screen and suddenly realized something very simple. I always thought my phone was just a tool, like a hammer. But a hammer doesn't demand that you check on it every 5 minutes. In this 1 hour, I caught myself having nothing to fill the silence in my own head. And that wasn't about the gadget. That was about me. I'm not too busy. I'm just used to hiding inside constant noise. Because when the screen goes quiet, you start to hear questions you've been avoiding for a long time. Do I actually like the way I live? Do I really need all these people in my feed? Or am I just afraid to be alone with my own thoughts? 1 hour didn't turn me into a new person. I didn't wake up a Zen monk. And I didn't suddenly hate technology. But I did see the difference between picking up my phone because I need it and picking it up because I'm scared to be left with myself. So I make a deal with myself. I'm not promising to scroll less. I'm not swearing to live offline. I just set one more timer for tomorrow. The same 60 minutes without my phone. Not for Instagram, not for a challenge, but to check one thing again. If 1 hour without a screen can give me back a sense of the real world, if 1 hour without a screen can give me back a sense of the real world, how many hours will it take to finally give myself back to me?